Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second Power Soccer um, Ask an Athlete live stream. Today, we are going to be interviewing John Sayles, who has been a part of Power Soccer since 2018. He's been part of our program. John, go ahead and say hi.
Hi guys.
All right, we got John here. So, the way this is going to work is I'm going to go through and I got some questions and stuff I'm going to be asking John. And what I will be requesting for everyone else to do is please leave any comments or questions you have for John in our comment section, either on Facebook or on YouTube, and we will get back to you with those questions and getting those answered. Um, so, just want to make sure that audio is coming through for everybody. Can everyone hear me and John okay? Somebody let me.
Testing two. Testing.
Yep, it looks like we're coming through quick. We're good. All
Great.
right, John. So I'm going to start out with kind of like some basic questions, kind of some stuff to kind of get to know you a little bit, for people that don't know who you are. So first, John, why don't you tell me, I guess, what your disability is and what got you started in power soccer?
I have cerebral palsy, and I found power soccer after going to a Portland Pounders rugby tournament. I decided to do a little research to see if there was a sport out there for people in power chairs, and connected with you, and here we are.
Yeah, and here we are. That was I remember that. I remember hearing that story about you going to a rugby game and then finding out about some other sports and looking into it and actually coming out to our practice. So, what was it that really kind of hooked you or made you say like, well, you know what, soccer is really for me. It's something I really want to do. Like, really made you kind of, I guess, not sort of fall in love with it, but you know what I mean. Just like really wanted to have you get started in it after you saw it.
I've always been a competitive person, so seeing rugby, I really like the idea of physical contact, so I thought maybe I'd try soccer and see how that felt if there was enough contact for me, and there is. It's good. It's a good feeling to hit something every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with power soccer, that chance to hit the ball and get around the court, that's pretty awesome stuff. So John, I have a whole list here of questions, and John does not know about any of these questions all ahead of time, so he's going to be kind of answering it on the seat of his pants, as they say. So let's go ahead and start out with some questions. So one of the first questions that came up is let's see. Sorry about this. Squared on questions. We got all over the place here. So we'll start out with something fun, not even soccer related. So, as a disabled individual, John, what is your opinion on the paper straw? As it seems to be a pretty controversial subject here in the city of Portland.
Honestly, I cannot stand the paper straw because it sticks to my lips every time I take a drink, and then I have to figure a way to get it unstuck. Not to mention they get soggy after about 20 minutes, and then you just have a soggy piece of paper stuck in your mouth.
Exactly, it just ruins the whole entire drink experience altogether. I agree with you. It's just yeah. So let's do another fun question. What is your favorite food, John? Kind of a get to know
My
you
favorite
questions.
food would probably be, well, I like almost anything on the barbecue, but ribs has to be my favorite.
Nice, can't go wrong with ribs at all. What would you say is your favorite sport or sports, obviously besides power soccer?
I'm really into like high school and college wrestling. My family follows that quite a bit.
Okay.
I don't really watch any professional sports on TV. Occasionally I'll catch a NASCAR race, but other than that, not much.
Not much. Okay. Um, this is kind of a question by one of your teammates. Then it's kind of one that we've used a couple times in some of the interviews. If you could describe basically as a little kid, um, what what did you want to be when you were growing up? Like was like, oh no, I want to be this when I grow up as an adult. What's something you thought of when you were a kid?
I had all kinds of ideas when I was little. I wanted to be an architect till my teacher's assistant in school that was helping me had a architectural engineering degree, and he brought all of his books into school. And the pile of books that goes with that is unreal. So then I realized that maybe architecture wasn't for me, because it's a lot of math and geometry, but that's what I wanted to be.
Yeah, so you're definitely trying to shy away from that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start jumping into all these soccer questions because I do have a lot from teammates and various people. So, um, what surprised you most about playing soccer, John? Like, what's one thing that stood out to you? Like, once you started playing, you're like, wow, I didn't necessarily think that would be like that. So, just give me something that surprised you.
Well, this is gonna sound weird, but I thought it was more of like a recreational type thing, kind of like a PE type thing, where we just go kick the ball around a little.
Yep,
I didn't realize it was going to be quite as structured as it is, but
got it.
that's
So,
not a bad thing. I enjoy the structure. I mean,
okay, so the structure thing is something that that caught you off guard.
yep.
Okay. So, what's another soccer question we have here? Um, One of the common questions we get quite a bit while playing soccer is, how does it feel when you crash into an opponent?
It feels, like I said earlier, it feels good to me. I like the idea of physical contact, but as far as my body goes, I mean, I don't get sore or anything afterwards. When we were getting used to the strike force chairs, sometimes the G forces made me a little sore the next day, but other than that, it was all right.
Yeah, that's hopefully a good soreness is what you're experiencing
Yes.
from that. So, um, what would you say, like, based? I know that last year, right before COVID happened, we were able to get a hold of three Strike Force chairs based on some funding and some other funding sources. What improvement would you say that you'd like to have on the equipment, or you think that would help with the equipment we have currently?
Um, that's a hard one.
Even if it's
But
for yourself, like something that would maybe benefit you to have on your strike force that would help you be able to play soccer better and safer with your strike force chair.
maybe a mirror so I can see behind me.
All right, so like some sort of rear view mirror or something to kind of get there behind you.
Yeah,
Okay, I like that. Um,
because
yeah,
sometimes you just have to go fast backwards and you don't really know what's behind you.
exactly. Yeah, driving backwards and trying to figure out what's behind you is definitely a tough part of the sport for sure. What would you say is your favorite thing about adaptive sports, John? Like something that you look forward to the most about us when we start getting back together again?
Honestly, it's just the social aspect. I mean, I was missing a huge amount of social interaction, and that's even continued online now because of all the friends I've made through soccer and the organization.
Yeah, that's one of the huge parts about power soccer is the social interaction with other people with similar disabilities or experiencing the same thing you are, and being able to relate and be able to work together with them on a on a court and competition, and it's a lot of fun. So I agree with you on that, John.
Yeah, I love the sport, but I think the social is the biggest gain out of the whole thing.
Okay, social for you, got it. All right. So another question we have, and these are going to be questions all from teammates. So can't really tell you what teammate it is, but I'm sure you'll be able to kind of guess as we go here, John. Um, let's see. What do you enjoy in your spare time besides soccer, John? What's something that you do on a regular basis besides soccer?
Well, I do everything from web design to video streaming to ATV riding. I have quite the list of hobbies. I have a
Okay.
pontoon boat that I've made accessible. Quite the list.
Okay. Um, and let's see. Another question from another teammate. They want to know, what is the max speed on your strike force chair? How fast can it go, John?
legally play the game, or how fast can it go?
I think they're wanting to go like above the 6.2 miles an hour, not the standard 6.2.
I think it's somewhere around 8 miles an hour.
Is it 8?
I think so.
All right, that's a decent amount of speed. Yeah, I know when the players want to know how fast the chair goes, as they all know, we're limited to 6.2 on the court, but at least as far off the court, there's no limit on speed there. So that's awesome.
It's very scary to go 8 miles an hour in a chair.
That's good to know. Um, let's see. Well, John, since we've been in this pandemic going on now since March, and we haven't had soccer. What have you been doing, I guess, to keep yourself busy during this time without soccer? What's been keeping you, like, I guess, out of trouble, and besides your hobbies?
Well, basically just my hobbies. I ended up working with a friend to create a bingo game for people online just to pass the time during the pandemic. So I did that for a couple months till summer came along, and then I spent the majority of the summer on my boat because there was nobody around. I was by myself. It was just a safe place to be, and I got to be outside. So,
And there's nothing better than the Oregon summers out on the lake in a boat like that. That sounds amazing, John. That sounds like a great way to pass some time during this time that we literally just don't have soccer and we need stuff to do to keep busy.
yeah.
So here's another question. Was it your idea to kind of start pursuing disabled sports, or is it something that family had to say, all right, John, you need to go out and check out this power soccer thing or check out disabled sports? Is it something you kind of did on your own?
No, it was actually inspired by the coach of the Portland Pounders. He got a hold of me and insisted that I come out and check out a game. So I did, and then, like I said before, it just snowballed into now I play soccer and have a bunch of friends because of it. So
Okay. Let's see. Got some more questions here. Somebody wants to know if you play video games. This is from a teammate. And what games do you play?
I play a lot of simulator style games.
Okay.
Right now, it's American Truck Simulator. It's an 18-wheeler simulation. So you just deliver freight back and forth. It's on the PC. I'm
And
not much of a fan of console games because you can't map keys to where you need them. So I prefer PC over console.
gotcha. Now, do you use any like specialized adaptive equipment at all to play your games at all, or how do you have your setup for you to be able to play games?
Right now, it's just a regular old Sidewinder joystick, and I have my steering wheel mapped to my joystick. So essentially, I drive my truck like I drive my wheelchair.
Nice.
Forward is gas, and then you turn side to side, and it turns the steering wheel. But the ratios are off a little bit because it's not really a steering wheel, so it looks a little funny, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, I mean that's what the most important part is, right? Is this get whatever works to get it so you can actually play some games. So that's awesome. All
Yeah.
right, we got some more questions here. All right. Who is your favorite athlete and why? And this could be from any sport, so it could be like football, basketball, soccer. Who's your favorite athlete, John?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. Probably Dale Earnhardt Jr., just because I've followed him since I was a little kid, in the racing community, and I don't know. That's an interesting question.
That's good though. It's a good choice. I mean,
Yeah.
he's an awesome legend in NASCAR. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. All right. So people want to start adding in some questions into our live chat. We're almost there. We've got about 3 or 4 more questions, and we'll be hitting up any Q&As you guys have about soccer, anything about John and his disability, his daily life, whatever it is. We're here to talk about it and have a good time about it. So go ahead and start loading up your questions on the comments in both YouTube and Facebook. All right, John, I got a few more questions here. These are a little bit out of order. So, John, if you had the ability to choose one thing you could do for by yourself that someone has to do for you currently, like somebody else has to do it for you right now, what would that be?
Besides the obvious one of driving, I would say getting out of bed and getting into bed so I could have my own schedule. And if I wake up in the middle of the night for 4 hours, I could get up and do something instead of having to wait for, you know, I could wake up my caregivers, but that's, it's nighttime. They want to sleep too. So probably just the ability to get myself in and out of bed.
Yeah, I mean, just to
And
have that ability of not having to rely on somebody else to, hey, I'm awake here in bed, but I literally can't get out of bed by myself. I totally understand that. Yeah,
But
that's
that
a
also goes for like sitting in a different chair or, just being able to get in and out of your chair on your own.
just the ability to even like transfer yourself versus having to have somebody else physically do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would make a big difference. Um, One of the fun team questions is we always get in every interview, as you know, and it comes up every time, is if you were to rate me as your coach of a scale of 1 to 10, what would that be, John?
Um, I can't believe we have to answer this question, but probably 8 or 9.
An 8 or 9? All right, fair enough, fair
Yeah.
enough. Is there a reason why I get a 8 or 9? Anything that
Well,
sticks out in your mind, per se?
I don't know. Haven't got to play much with you lately, so I don't know. I don't think I have enough info to make a good judgment on that. As
Yeah,
a friend, as a friend, you're a 10, but
true.
as a coach, I still got some time to figure that out.
Yeah, that's true. As a coach, I agree with you. As a friend, I'm could be a 10, but if we're talking about me as a coach, well, we'll give it an 8. I can go with you on that one. Um, so one of the other questions, John, that I know that we've got not only just from athletes but from people all around the world is, what can people help you with in playing soccer? What can people do to help you play soccer?
Support the sport. Because the more you support disabled sports, the more likely we are to be able to travel and do stuff. Just support the disabled community in general. If you see somebody in need and you have a little bit of extra cash to help out, please do. It goes a long ways.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's nothing better than, if people have the ability to donate and, and help out towards a cause. It's definitely something that helps us for Power Soccer, just getting funds and raising money so we can buy, our equipment and keep things going. So, and, we were doing that quite well before, COVID was going on. So hopefully after COVID, we're back on the court. We get right back into fundraising, get back into getting more equipment, more strike force chairs, and hopefully have a chance to go and travel and, play against some other teams. John, are you super excited about having a chance to go out and play some other teams?
I would love to travel. Travel is one of my favorite things to do. If it wasn't so difficult with wheelchairs and seating and all that, I would be gone all the time. But it's a lot harder in a chair than just to be able to walk onto a plane and sit down and fly away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and traveling with soccer is going to be a lot of fun when we get to that chance. So, all
Yeah.
right. Well, it is coming up to that time right now. We're going to go ahead and start hitting up some of these questions in the live chat. So first, we're going to go ahead and start with Facebook. So this is coming from Franklin. He wants to know, how many devices do you have on your network now?
Um, Last I checked, it was about 41, but I'm sure there's closer to 45 now.
45. That's an impressive number on your network. What are a lot of them like Internet of Things devices, cameras, or what kind of stuff's on your network, John?
Cameras, uh, actually my door opener, believe it or not, is all intertwined. So it's a range of devices from PCs to cameras and door openers.
Okay, we've got quite the collection going on. So let's see. Let me go over here to YouTube. Let's see what questions we got going on here. Benjamin Wibbit wants to know, John, have you been able to get out much of your side-by-side since you modify it so you could drive it?
Uh, I did that for a couple months, but then I made a change that made it really difficult, and I haven't had the time to get out and reverse that change to make it as easy as it was in the beginning. But, as with any disabled modification, you don't know until you try. So I just went the wrong way with one of the modifications and need to reverse it in order to be able to drive comfortably again. So hopefully when it starts raining, now that we put the boat away, I should be able to start tinkering with that. So
Yeah, no, exactly. That'd be amazing, dude. I remember everyone was commenting about when you were sharing the story before of you being able to modify your side by side so you can drive it. It's a pretty sweet setup.
yeah.
Yeah. So got another question coming in. This is from Totally Normal. Do you prefer donuts or bagels? And you have to explain why.
Donuts, because a bagel is just plain, and I don't like bread very well. So I'd have to say donuts because you get a little sugar and there's flavor. I know you can get flavored bagels, but I don't like a lot of bread. So
Okay, that's a good explanation. Um, and I know that I see a few people, and just let people know by the time your question comes in on live chat, or we see any of your comments, it shows up about 30 to 40 seconds later. So just want to give everyone a heads up. If you guys go ahead and post something, just know it takes us about 30 or 40 seconds for us to see it on your end, or on our end. I apologize. One of the things that did get asked, I know that there's a few people in chat here that are asking if they can donate, where they can donate. So my recommendation is to that is yes, there is a link on powersoccerpdx.com to donate, but the best way to do a donation would be going to Adaptive Sports Northwest. They are our parent organization. They're the ones that have helped us get funding all throughout the years that we've been doing this program. So I would definitely recommend everyone go over to Adaptive. I think it's called AdaptiveSportsNorthwest.com. Let me get the somebody can totally normal can find that link and post that in chat. I'd appreciate it. I see that you're in there. And we'll get that link posted in the live chat on both sites there, so everyone can go on there. If anybody wants to donate, you guys be able to donate. That would go directly towards us for Power Soccer. We really appreciate it. We have another question coming in, John. Jordan Lowe, Elevator Tours Canada, wants to know what's the fastest speed you've gone in a power soccer chair?
probably the 8 miles an hour that the strike force chair will go.
And where
Because
were you when you did this 8 mile an hour test? Were you outside, the gym?
I've done it a couple times. I did one in a gym and then one in a public event that I probably shouldn't disclose.
An undisclosed location that you were able to do a wheelchair at
Yeah.
8 miles an hour. Okay, fair enough. And would you say, I mean, let's kind of focus a little bit more. I guess we're kind of getting some questions on the Strike Force chair. What would you, if you could describe the difference in between using your everyday chair and using your Strike Force chair, what has been like the difference? Like, how could you describe that difference?
This is gonna sound really funny, but about 20 years ago, power chairs were much more similar to the strike force chairs because there was no safety gyros or any of that really. So when they would turn your speed up, you would be able to turn. And that's the main difference is just being able to turn at full speed. Nowadays the chairs will limit your turning so you don't flip over. So that's the main difference is just the turning speed and the reversing speed. But
So it's just a huge difference there, just to how quickly it can turn. And
yeah,
would you say that as far as the turning speed goes, do you feel safe when you're spinning in your chair? Do you feel like you need to be completely secured?
I mean, I've tipped over a few times in different chairs, so I'm not really scared per se. I mean, you're in a pretty good box. So I don't know. Sometimes it is nice if you know you're going to get hit from the side You know, it's nice to put a chest belt on just to keep your body from getting sore, but generally I don't need straps or anything to keep me in the chair.
Got it. You can kind of go without it and be safe and be in your chair and not have any issues at all.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is there any funny stories you can think of that happened since you've had your Strike Force? Something that when you think about it, this makes you laugh. Like, man, after getting that Strike Force chair, this is something crazy that happened.
Trying to drive backwards for the first time
And what was and
without,
what was that like?
you could not go straight at all. All you could do is go side to side. And I know there's a few people in the chat that will agree with me because we all laughed at one another for a pretty good chunk of time when practice. We tried to drive backwards through just a half court and none of us could keep the wheels straight long enough to get to half court.
Would you say with any of the things that you've learned for playing power soccer, do you feel like that any of that has like increased your skill at driving your wheelchair, or is there anything that you've learned by using like I guess your wheelchair in power soccer that you didn't experience before?
Just, well, one thing is different. I mean, they're meant to run into one another, so it's a little different than my daily chair where you try not to damage, you know, you're not really protected, so you try not to run into anything. But in soccer, they tell you to go after the ball, and if you accidentally hit somebody, that's just part of the game. So that was a difference for me was learning to be able to hit somebody without, worrying about damaging the chair. Because never did I try to run into anything with my daily driver wheelchair. I mean,
Yeah, you
occasionally I would push open a door, but other than that, I didn't deliberately run into things.
but hitting a few doors, that's okay. That happens.
You have to open and close the door somehow.
So it looks like I accidentally missed a few questions here going on in Facebook. So let's go ahead and jump onto those real quick. Franklin wants to know who is your favorite driver in NASCAR?
Well, he's not in there anymore. Like I said before, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Was probably one of the biggest celebrities that I follow and pay attention to. But currently, it's probably Kevin Harvick since Junior retired.
Yeah, that sounds that's you gotta love old school NASCAR. That's like the best stuff right there. Franklin also wants to know when are you going to get remote control heavy equipment on the property?
Um, it's in my want to do list, but money is a big barrier when it comes to that. It's like 3 grand to do what I want to do. So with my father and family being involved in excavation, I've always wanted to turn a full-size excavator into a remote control unit so I can drive it from my chair. So
That would be epic just to be able to have the ability to drive like heavy equipment from your wheelchair.
yeah,
Um, Another question that came up, John, which I don't know if you're familiar uh, with it, but Ian Reuter was asking: is it called power football in Europe? And yes, Ian, they do call it power football over in Europe. That's what they do call it over there. Let's see. We got another fun question. Who's your favorite mom?
the only one I have. There's
Good
no,
answer. That's a good answer, especially you know she's watching. You want to make sure you cover your bases there. So, let's see.
or should I say the one that listens?
Oh,
Say the one
yeah.
that listens.
So as long as you get the mom that listens, that it's okay, right? It's good. Yeah. All right. So does anybody else have any other questions at all here for John or me in regards to Power Soccer and the Power Soccer program we have here in Portland? Please leave some questions if there's any more. Um, Another question just came in, John. Have you ever driven your wheelchair on a racetrack? Yeah, have you ever driven your wheelchair on a racetrack before? Have you been to a NASCAR race?
I have been to a NASCAR race. We went to Phoenix, I believe in 2014 or 2016, and I haven't actually driven on the NASCAR track per se, but I've been part of the hand cycling events out at Portland International Raceway. I can't hand cycle, but I go just to hang out and be social with everybody. So technically, I've driven my wheelchair on the racetrack before.
Yeah, I think that totally counts because they do have their Adaptive Sports Northwest does have that cycle series that they do every summer for hand cycles, and it is out at PIR, which is our local racetrack we have out here in Portland, and yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. And you, I guess, we'll count that as a racetrack. It may not be a NASCAR track, but it's still a track nonetheless. All right, let's take a look at see what's going on. Um, Darla Areza wants to know if the season has started. And Darla, no, the season has not started. It's been on hold. We currently would be in the season right now, but due to COVID and the circumstances, we have not held a practice or have been together at all since March. So we've been doing some live streaming and some Zoom meetings in between, just kind of keep things going. So no, we have not. We're not currently in season right now. John, do you have any thoughts or any other last minute thoughts you can think of about power soccer in general? Maybe you want to talk about something that's on your mind.
I just mainly just say thank you for doing everything you do. I mean, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have nearly the social life that I do. So, I mean, it's all because of soccer that my core group of friends is all soccer related right now. So,
Well, I'm glad that we were able to meet John and that you were able to join our power soccer program, and it's been great to have you, a part of it. So it's been a great experience for not only me for coaching you, but then also be able to be your friend outside of the sport as well. So that part's been great. I have one more question just popped in. Somebody wants to know: do you think you'll ever have a chance to ride inside of a NASCAR?
well, I've kind of done that before. I was in a, it's a West race car, so it's not the true NASCAR, but I got to go for 2 laps on the road course at Portland 3 or 4 years ago. And I'll tell you what, it ended up being the most different experience that I, compared to what I thought it was going to be. I have a whole new appreciation for what the drivers go through. I mean, it was so hot in that car that you just couldn't even think. And the noise was unreal. I mean, you see it on TV, you don't hear any of the noise, you don't feel the heat,
Yeah.
but it's a whole different feeling when you're actually in the car.
What
So
was the G-force experience like for you in a car? I mean, I've been in a race car myself as a passenger, and there's nothing like the G-forces in corners that just like, shove you into the corner of the car, put your head up against the window kind of thing.
honestly, I almost threw up in the first corner just because, I didn't expect the braking forces to be nearly what they were, or the acceleration forces. That the just when they let out the clutch, the amount of grab that just from all the power is unreal. I mean, it's like nothing you ever felt before.
Yeah, no, and if any of our viewers have not experienced being inside of a race car, disabled or not, like it's something you got to add to your list and try out. It's an experience all in itself. So for sure,
Yes.
I definitely remember those times. It was great. We have another question. Franklin wants to know, he's one of our teammates. He wants to know what color are we planning on painting our guards, and he's hoping it's not pink. Do you have any comments on that?
Um, I say we do it pink.
You second the pink?
No, I say we do pink.
Oh, okay. So you're on board with you're on board with pink all around. So every teammate gets a pink card.
especially Franklin.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Well, we will
No, I mean,
we will definitely keep keep up what we're doing, and I think that pink guards are definitely on our horizon, especially for Franklin. I agree. All right, we're going to be wrapping this up here soon. Does anybody else have any other questions at all for John or Power Soccer related? If not, we're going to wrap this thing up. So I'll wait get about 20 or 30 seconds here, see if there are any more questions coming in, and then we'll wrap up this live stream.
have I surprised you in any way with my actions on the court? That's a question.
This is a reversal on the interview here. All right.
Yes.
What I would have to say in that department, John, was your ability to adapt to the strike force chair. Like that was quite impressive because I don't know how many of our viewers have experienced a strike force soccer chair for power soccer, but the power difference between an everyday chair and a strike force chair is night and day. And be able to basically hop into it and be able to drive it without taking yourself out or anyone else out, John, was quite impressive. Because as you know when you first started driving that thing, I mean it's crazy. It takes quite a while to get used to, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it took a good 3 or 4 practices, and it's probably going to take another 3 or 4 when we get to going again because it's been so long. I'll get there.
Yeah, I mean it's all takes time. I mean I remember when I first had a strike force kind of chair. I mean it took me at least 3 to 4 months of us practicing once a week just for me to even finally get the ability to handle that kind of power. So I totally remember that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I would like to thank everyone for being available and watching our live stream today. And John, I'd like to thank you for being available. Um,
Thank everyone for watching as well.
and I would also like to remind everybody again, if anybody's looking to donate at all towards the Power Soccer program, is please go to adaptivesportsnorthwest.org. There is an orange donate button on the top of the page where you can donate directly to the parent organization that we belong to that helps us out with our equipment and facilities and things when we are hopefully going to be able to be active and playing again after sometime next year is our game plan. Hopefully we can make all that happen. So thank you again, and appreciate everybody, and appreciate everyone that's helped us get this live stream going. And thank you so much, and everyone enjoy your weekend. Take care.